is going on, YouTube? Hope everybody's doing good, having a good day over here in Wisconsin, like 30 miles south of Green Bay, Wisconsin. Got to drop off at 8 in the morning. Have a whole lot of free time on this load, so decided to make a video. But there's been some moving and shaking. That old Prime's decided to, I guess they're going to go with like AI technology, where if you run into their numbers, they're going to put sensors in your truck, apparently, that if you're on your phone, it'll know when it's reading your phone, or if you're tired, yada, yada, yada. In my opinion on that isn't really important. I could give two shits. There's a lot of people that feel very strongly against, more so against than for, which is completely understandable. But what I wanted to talk about was more or less how people feel about the companies that they're either contracted for or that they work for. A big conversation, a lot bigger YouTubes, and I'm not going to use their names. I'm not going to say their names because I don't believe in piggyback. Like, I'm not going to try to piggyback off huge YouTubers and throw their names in my video. If you watch any trucking videos, you probably know what I'm talking about. But there's been big discussions in company cultures, right? How Prime's culture is changing, how they're not like they used to be. The list goes on and on. And funny enough, at least, and this is just for me, I came to truck driving to get away from company culture. I came to truck driving to get as far away from a feeling of a family, a feeling of us as a group, all that stuff, which is wonderful and makes you feel warm and makes you feel good about doing whatever job you're doing. I came to driving a truck to get away from all that. That is the last thing. I don't care or worry about a culture as much as, and my only reason is that because at a company I used to work for, I think it's been probably 6 years now, and I worked there for, the longest job I ever had was like 4 or 5 years, and it was there, and I was a company man. That was literally one of my nicknames, company man. Jump how high, shit what color, all day, every day. I believed in company culture. I believed that they actually gave a shit about me as a human being, right? They were also $1 billion company and made buku bucks and had different places. They were a global company. It wasn't just the United States. Their headquarters was somewhere in Germany. They have places in they have a worldwide reach, and rightfully so. And I used to be one of those people that believed in the culture, that believed in, I was more than just a resource for that company to produce goods. I believed that I couldn't be replaced, that what I did was special, and believe me when I tell you, that was one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in my life. And that was also a very hard lesson that I had to learn, because at the time, I was a little upset. At the time, it was disheartening, to say the least. But over time, and the reason why I even got into trucking was to never be put in that situation again, or how hard it would be for me to get wrapped up in something like that and feel like the company I'm contracted out for, right? The reality of the situation that I've learned just from I'm young. Well, some say I'm young. I feel like I'm old as dirt. But I'm 35. And in my experience, $1 billion company, a global company, Prime, any other huge trucking company, and I will even go as far as to say the little outfits where people like to say, well, they treat you like a family here, right? You're more than just a truck number. Really? Don't make money for the company you work for a month or two and tell me how much of a family you feel. Create nothing but problems. Be the black sheep of supposed family you work for however long. But I can promise you, you probably won't be part of that family for long if you ain't helping pay the bills. Company culture, when you can see it, when it's a tangible thing, is a beautiful thing, right? But in my experience, a company, especially big companies, but all companies, if they can do something that can increase their bottom line or decrease the amount of money that they have to spend in producing a product and cutting back, reducing pay, how you feel about that, or how anyone that works there feels about that, unless they are paying bills, unless they are making the decisions, guarantee you they are going to go with it, as uncomfortable as those things will make you feel, because the bottom line is what they're going to implement going to save them money or going to make them money. And a lot of people have said, well, I'll leave. I've been here this many years. I've been here this. I will go somewhere else. They're going to lose a good driver. I'm not taking anything away from people who say they're good drivers, because there are better drivers than others. Definitely 110%, right? There's safe drivers. There's people who do this job better than others. But the end result, 98% of professions, you can see, if I took 2 electricians and I told 2 electricians to go wire 2 separate houses, I guarantee you someone who's been an electrician for 30 years can go into both those houses and tell me which one is the better electrician based on the work that they have done. If I took 2 welders to weld 2 things, somebody can go in there and they could test those welds with an x-ray. Or a guy who's been welding 30 years and go in and look and tell you who the better welder is based off a weld. Plumbing, not, you name it, you can go back and you can judge and you can see, is this person better than this person? Trucking, as much as we like to make things to seem like we're better than the next truck driver, oh, he's wearing sandals, he's driving a stick shift, he's driving a manual, an automatic, he's driving a Kenworth. Truck drivers like to put a bunch of shit that in the end really doesn't make a difference. The one thing that matters in truck driving, one thing, is the shit you picked up from point A, did it get to point B? And that's it. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter if I took it, a guy who just got out of school took it, a guy who's been driving 35 years took it. Once it comes off your truck, it's one thing. It's a box on a pallet in a warehouse. It doesn't have a sign that says, this has been delivered by Tiptoes Trucking. This has been delivered by this, that, and the other, or by a 1989 Peterbilt with 4 million miles on it. It is a box on a pallet in a warehouse. If you're a flatbed, it's a piece of steel sitting on a shop floor. You name it. Unless you're doing heavy haul shit where you're hauling pieces of the spaceship, then yeah, you might be a bad motherfucker. Alright? But 98% of us, you can look at our records. Are you safe? How many tickets have you gotten? There's little things, but when it comes to the actual job, did it get to where it needs to go, yes or no? So when people sit here and say, well, I'll leave, they're going to lose drivers, I promise you they have factored that in to the decision that they've made, whatever route they're going to go with. I can promise you that they've had a bunch of people sitting in a room for probably months figuring out how many people they're going to lose and how long it's going to take to get set amount of people back and to be back up to producing or hauling as many loads as they feel like they need to be hauling on a weekly basis. Billion-dollar companies didn't get to be billion-dollar companies. Big companies didn't get to be big companies by worrying about how everybody on the ground floor feels about the decisions they're going to make. They can put as much fluff, you can put as much whipped cream on top of that cherry as you want. Trucking's a business. It's like any other business. The difference is I don't have to go into a shop and listen to shit all day. I don't have to listen to meetings every morning where they fluff things up. It doesn't surprise me when they do that. When they say things without saying things, because every company does that. Prime is a business, just like any other one. If what they do or what they implement can save on their bottom line and their risk versus reward they have worked out, okay, we'll lose some people. How long is it going to take to get back? They can get somebody else to take box from point A to point B. They can cut somebody else a paycheck. Is the company culture changing at Prime? I don't know, because I've never paid any attention to it, and I've tried to stay as far away as I could. But the time that I was behind the company and that I believed in what this company stood for and thought that I was more than a means to produce is the time that I got disappointed. And you know how I quit getting disappointed? I understand why I'm here. I understand why I'm in this truck. And I understand what my job is. And I don't add nothing more to it. I don't put any extra into it. If I want a bigger check, I run my hours out. I haul as many loads as possible. And actually my fleet managers really never asked me to do favors. Only people who've asked me to do favors is when he's on vacation. And every time I've been like, no. Because I've been the guy to put in extra. I've been the guy to go above and beyond, however you want to put it, and it never paid off for me. So I don't even want to be put in a situation where I feel like, well, I did this for you, I'm doing this extra shit. And especially in what we do. As much extra shit as you think you're doing, there's somebody else doing the same thing. There's somebody else doing everything we're doing. And if we leave, no matter how fancy you think you are at this job, they will have somebody else do it. And that goes for all professions. I would much rather feel like I'm here to do a job and no one knows my name. I would much rather feel like fly under the radar. I want them to think, don't ask him to do something extra. He just does his job, and that's fine with me because that's been working. I don't get disappointed when Prime comes up with something. It's like, well, we're going to do this. Okay, it makes logical sense because they're going to save money in the long run. The discussion, it's because I've been, like, the company culture thing's been coming up a lot. And a company's culture, as much as you want to say it's something else, or as anyone wants to tell you that it feels like family and this, that, and the other, a company's culture is to be profitable. And any way they can find to be more profitable will be their culture. And especially in truck driving. Because it's not like I said, there's no, it's a box on a pallet, man. It's a box on a pallet. None of us are special out here. None of us are better than the next. As much as we like to put trivial bullshit in front of things, which I feel like some of them I do too, where it's like, God, how are you going to wear sandals walking through a truck stop filled with piss and shit? But I digress. When you break it down to the finest points of this shit, when you break it down to the brass tacks, to what matters is the company's bottom line. And the beautiful thing about trucking, if you don't want what they're going to implement, like say I was unhappy where I was, I can't go build a building and produce what they were producing unless I had fucking $500,000, or it'd probably take a lot more than $1 million. With trucking, you have a tool available where if you were unhappy, especially if you already have the title to your truck, to run under your own numbers. Right? It doesn't take, you don't have to build a building. You don't have to build a whole production line. If you have a truck, you can create your own culture. But I promise you, your culture will change too if it means you make more money in the end. Once you start getting employees, then you got to pay other people. And then when I would say not to put a lot of weight onto a company culture, because I feel like it's fluff. It's a feel-good thing. It's something that keeps people motivated to do more, when in reality, it was never the case that that company would do more for you. When it ever came down to it, Prime's going to cover their ass. And they won't put their ass out on the line for me or anybody else. So don't do it for Prime, any other company. Cover your butt. I learned that the hard way, and that's the only reason. If that makes you feel good, go for it. But a company's culture, in my head, is to make money, and however they want to arrange that and make it seem like it's this, that, and the other. Okay, but that's not the truth of it. That's not when you look at it and you strip all that shit out of there. It's a machine. We are cogs in a gigantic wheel. You can go make your own wheel, but no matter what, Prime or any other company will continue to go. Like it's I don't know. There's just a lot of talk about cultures and things change. They're gonna change. That's the way of the world. Like, you're doing good, don't worry, that'll change. You're doing bad, that's gonna change too. I came into trucking for the opposite of what everybody's saying is changing. And maybe that's why it's not as a shock to me, because I understood they're an opportunity for me to make money, and at the same time I'm an opportunity for Prime to make money. And anything beyond that is past my scope, and I'm not worried about it, because I'm in this truck. I'm away from everybody. I don't get involved in it. So I've shielded myself from most of this disappointment that people have, because I expect them to do things that I probably won't like, because it's going to save them money. And if I pissed me off enough, I would go get my own numbers. Run under my own authority. So, and we'll see. It might not be half as bad as people are saying. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. Not going to freak out about something that ain't here yet. That ain't my style. So, but anyway, this is a long ass video. Y'all have a good one. Be safe. Be decent. Tiptoe Tim before I'm gone. Y'all be safe. Keep putting out right and keep doing right and good and all that good stuff. Y'all be safe.